afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard 20th Century Airlines Flight 1980. We'll be fleeing almost indefinitely. They seem to have us in a holding pattern of some sort around the sun, I think. Unfortunately, it may be necessary to move some of you folks in first class back into the economy section. We may not have enough dinners aboard or enough wine. Of course, we have plenty of snacks. We'd just like to request that you keep your trash in and around your own seat. Otherwise, we seem to be in good shape. We have enough air for years of this sort of cruising. You may think it smells a little funny, but then so does the water. However, you can reuse all water you want. We just pump it right back up there again and again. Now, in the unlikely event there should be a temporary failure in the cabin air and water supply, a compartment over your head will open automatically and a rubber Halloween face mask will drop down. Just pull it over your head and amuse one another as best you can. Now, if some of you people on the night side care to look out, you can see the moon.
Where are we going? Who knows? In any case, it shouldn't take too long to get there. Our tickets are bought and paid for, and we are well on our way. As you know, the population of the planet will about double in the next 30 years. We continue to multiply and expand, and our grossest national product is waste, increasing at twice the rate of the population, amounting to billions of tons every year, rising from the earth, sinking on the surface of the land, and always in the end, pouring, settling, draining into the rivers and oceans. Leaving behind only the large rusting objects and the trillion indestructible cans and plastic things. And also the growing trace of poison that accumulates in living tissue and increases on up the food chain to man himself. In this country alone, a ton of air pollutants each year for each man, woman, and child. Now there are hundreds of thousands of toxic gases which we can't even identify. New ones created every day by photochemical reactions high up in the soup of pollution that we breathe. Of course, most of the solids end up in our water, along with raw sewage, oil, nitrates, phosphorus, detergents, organic nutrients, mercury, and 1,000 more. Our consuming thirst for unrestored quantities of water will soon be impossible to quench, as our residues are discharged ever downstream to assure eventually a septic world beyond the natural limits of waste dilution. There is now no corner of the globe that does not receive its share of industrial fallout. And the forests and fields that some of us have known, the marshes and estuaries, the plains and mountains, and the last of the wilderness itself, all shrink from the expanding presence of men. We are now paving 1 million acres a year. And those who flee from the countryside, which can no longer support them, in turn create the choking suburban sprawl of megalopolis and join lines of commuters who move at horse and buggy speed on superhighways built to get them into traffic-clogged cities where they can find no place to park their high-pollution automobiles, which most of us seem doomed to drag through life along with a growing collection of the products of planned obsolescence. This is the bright future promised by technology. This is the utopia we have made for ourselves. by coupling the Industrial Revolution to an expanding population. Now we will pay the price because our fathers progressed so admirably. Now the simple pleasures, the moments of peace, the things of beauty are becoming harder to find. Under a growing barrage of noise and nerves and electronic bad taste in the service of somebody else's limited interests. It must be realized that all of our environmental ills are byproducts. They are the results of the way we live and eat and travel, of the way we build our cities, of what we consume and how we entertain ourselves. And all of our problems aggravate and feed upon one another in ways that we don't yet understand. Many scientists now believe that we may be entering the twilight of human existence. And this age of affluence, of technological marvels and medical miracles, is paradoxically also the age of chronic ailments, of anxiety, and even of despair. An age in which our fellow creatures face destruction within the same delicately balanced ecosystem that supports us, and in which our legacy to our own children is a rapidly growing number of ways to die. It is as simple as that. Some good evidence that most of our people are deciding on a different road to the future. It's not without significance that the President has signed into law a unique bill establishing a national policy to permit conditions under which man and nature can coexist in productive harmony. A Council on Environmental Quality was established that requires that all federal activities be subject to review as to their impact on the environment. There is a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration to do research on long-range pollution problems. The Environmental Protection Agency was created to mount an attack on the interrelated problems of air and water pollution, solid waste, pesticides, radiation, and noise. State and local governments, industries, unions, universities, and other institutions are working to adjust themselves to this new awareness. A more careful evaluation is now being made of the Alaska oil pipeline proposals. The jet port once planned for the Florida Everglades is not being built. The manufacturers of all our goods, from soaps to cosmetics to cars and soda crackers, are eagerly seeking ways to demonstrate that they too care about the ecological questions which trouble us. These changes in attitude reflect that we, the people, have discovered that it's our air, our water, and our planet that are in jeopardy. To hold our institutions to making these difficult adjustments, we must reject the concept that the only freedom of choice we have left is in the supermarket. We must lay our hands on the levers of change and renewal in our society. The issues are complicated. Some of the choices and trade-offs, as the experts tell us, are hard to make. But if we don't participate in making these difficult decisions, they will make them for us. We can have the kind of environment we want, but the price is involvement. There's hardly a conservation or consumer organization in this country which is not striving to better understand and influence this movement toward ecological responsibility. We can join them. We can participate in the pollution hearings in our communities and states. We can stop assuming that we have to accept ugliness, obsolete land use, zoning laws, a high rate of noise, congestion, pollution, open dumps, and double talk as the price of progress. We can find out who is polluting our land and water and ask them why. We can be a thorn in the side of those who think our ecological concern is a passing fad. We could sometimes wish it were a passing fad, because then it would go away as fads do, but it isn't. When enough of us have begun to earnestly commit to these principles, we'll begin to face the facts. In our free and open society, the first place to look for the ecological villain is in the mirror. Only then will we be on a high road toward the future. Only then will we have begun to take personal responsibility for the direction of this nation. After all, this is what our founding fathers had in mind from the beginning.